Welcome to the MMHP in the 989, channeling all styles and eras of Michigan music history. Recorded live from the Michigan Rock Legends Hall of Fame, located inside the Bay County Historical Museum
from the city by the bay.
Featuring Dr. J, Fred Reif, Mr. Mike, and your host, Scott Baker. Brought to you by the 989 Podcast Network and the Michigan Rock Legends Hall of Fame, located at the Bay County Historical Society Museum at 321 Washington Avenue, Bay City, Michigan.
All right, we're podcasting tonight, as usual, from the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame, located at the Historical Museum of Bay County in beautiful downtown Bay City, Michigan. And we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Steve McCray.
Hey, Stevie.
What's going on?
Thanks for wanting to do this, man. That was really kind of you when you told me that.
Man.
I appreciate that.
Glad you had me.
Yeah.
Had me over here.
That's great. We made it work.
Right.
Got Dr. J in the house, Sir Fred, and Mr. Mike doing some video. We're trying a new room here at the Hall of Fame, getting our microphones set up, and hopefully we got a standing spot here to enjoy this podcasting, a little more control on the voices. Steve, let's go all the way back, man. You're the young one in the family?
Am.
And tell me, was it just absorbed into the blood, or how did it roll, man?
As far as the music is concerned, it was like, as far as I can remember, it was like just some type of music, man. It was just some kind of, whether it was my dad playing harmonica or somebody, records or something, it was always music. I heard music all the time, so I can't remember being without music. So
You were in Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah, did you come to Michigan the same time Larry did?
about a year later or so, a
Okay.
year and a half, something like that. Yeah.
So how old were you when you came
When
here?
I first come up here, I was 7.
Okay.
I turned 8 the same fall of that summer. Started school, and when I turned 8, I started 3rd grade up in Michigan, in Saginaw.
Saginaw?
Yeah.
Was Claire, your sister, already here?
Yeah, she had been here for a while, a few years.
Still trying to get a picture of her.
There's got to be somewhere, man. I've been moving and stuff, but I'm pretty sure between me and my nieces and stuff, somebody's got some pictures of her.
Tony said he did, but
Yeah. I'll see if I'm around him all the time. I'll see if I can get something going on for you.
great.
Who brought you up here, Steve? I mean, obviously you didn't come yourself, so how did that work out?
It was after Larry came, like I said, my sister came to visit, really, and she brought him back with her just as like, I'm gonna go. She's gonna take a little brother to Michigan for a while, and that's all it was supposed to have been. But then we ended up moving. So,
Wow.
like I said, a year and a halch later, it was my mom and me.
Oh,
We came up next.
wow. So she established the...
Greyhound bus.
Really? Remember all that, yeah.
Arkansas, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So how much of a culture shock was it to come up to Michigan?
Totally. I mean, we literally lived in the woods, man,
Okay,
in
and
Arkansas.
then you come to the big
Yeah,
city of Saginaw?
Yeah, no running water, the whole
Whoa.
deal, so,
Wow.
Was James here already?
yeah.
That's who I first met.
Yeah, he was here already. He came up in I think, 63 or 4, something like that. It was like I was a baby, So I don't. My oldest siblings are like my uncles or something because they're so much older than me, So, and then Clara's got a daughter that's older than me, and I'm her uncle. So
Oh,
and Tony and I, we only like 9 months apart. I'm his uncle, So,
Right.
and then he jokes about it on the mic. Yeah, that's my baby uncle back there on the drum.
My baby uncle.
That's what he calls
Yeah,
me.
forget about that, yeah.
My baby uncle.
well, speaking of drums, when did you start?
I started. My brother Carl and Larry had already been fooling around with bass and guitar and stuff, and I didn't have nothing. We bongos and all that, and Carl was working in Central Foundry the old Malibu plant, GM, and some guy sold him a set of Ludwig drums around 76, I think it was. And then they had a buddy that played drums and would come over and jam with him and Larry. And so I'm the shorty in the back. That's my brother's drums. I want to play, you know.
Right.
Couldn't play, didn't know how to do nothing. So I was about, I would say like 13 when I actually started learning how to play something.
Did you have a teacher, or
No.
are you pretty much self-taught?
Yeah.
Okay.
He told me after the guy that they were playing with stopped coming around for whatever reason, you know, well, those drums are in there. You can learn how to play them. You can have them like that. So that was the incentive to get the drums.
Wow.
All right. Did you start like playing along with records? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. That's how does he doing that, you know?
So who was your drum inspiration? Was there a particular drummer that you were really into?
Believe it or not, the first song, full song I ever learned how to play was by the Isley Brothers.
Okay.
Footsteps in the Dark.
All
And it's
right.
one of the most simplest beats if you listen to the track. And that's their brother Ernie on drums. That's Ernie Isley playing
Really?
drums on that record. But,
He went on to be a guitar player.
yeah, you know, Jimmy taught him and whatever and all that. Jimmy lived with him and all that stuff. But as far as inspiration, as far as to play, really get down into it, it was funk music from George Clinton's drummer, Jerome Braley.
Oh, okay.
We used to call him Bigfoot Braley.
All right.
Yeah, I saw that concert at the Civic Center when it was still called the Civic Center. But
Okay.
I saw them down there 2 or 3 times. But my first one was when first time I saw Parliament Funkadelic, man. That drummer blew me away. I was only like 13, 14 years old. I'm like, wow, I want to do that. So, you know.
So did they
That
have
was
the full mothership and the
Yeah, they had the whole,
man, okay, you
all
got
the
to see it.
theatric, the everything.
All
yeah.
right.
As a
Wow.
kid, I was like 13.
I'm
So
sure
it
that was
blew
pretty
me away.
impressive.
Oh, yeah.
When I seen them, they had diapers. Huh?
Yeah.
The bass player.
Gary
yeah.
Scheider was the main diaper guy. He passed away too. Yeah. Yeah, Gary used to wear that diaper. That was a crazy show, but yeah, that drummer from that band is what made me really want to. I love this style. The way I still listen to his stuff now. You know.
You got to know him pretty well, right?
No, I
Not well?
didn't meet them guys. I mean, I met George and maybe a couple of the other ones, but not really got to hang around with him too much or nothing. You know.
I've been blessed to be around you quite a bit, so I hear you talking about him a lot. So I always assumed you knew him.
Nah.
Okay.
Just listened to a lot of their stuff, man. Grew up listening to it, you know. It's one of my favorite groups, Parliament, Funkadelic, whatever you want to call them.
And that had to be about 1980 or 79 or 81 or something.
Yeah, the stuff that I was listening to probably was a little bit before the mid '70s. Some of that Mothership Connection stuff, that those records and the live records they did.
Yeah,
too, you know.
but when you saw him, I mean.
When I seen them back then, it was like about at that time I was talking. I think it was like 77, something like that.
wow.
77, 78.
So
somewhere in there.
cool.
Yeah.
You don't hear
think
many
that
people
was
talking about that. That's a Michigan
sixth
band.
or 7th grade, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is another. I would love to get some Parliament Funkadelic on our show here.
Man.
If you have any connections, Steve, you got to put it in for us, man. Put it in, all right?
Well, George Clinton would
Yeah.
be the man. I don't. Does he live in Michigan?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. He was always hanging around Detroit and recording down there, you know.
Well,
But
he
I don't-
was
I don't know-
living
I don't know if he lives
outside
there.
of Jackson for
Okay.
a long time.
I don't really know
And
where he
then,
lives.
but
at.
his house belonged to the record label owner, who apparently screwed him out of royalties.
So he let him live in his house, but took all the money.
There you go.
I guess. You know, I don't know the story, but
There's got to
then
be a book on
he
it.
had
Yeah.
to move, so he moved down south
Stop
somewhere.
complaining. Take a house.
Yeah, there we go.
You don't need money.
Yeah.
But George, when he came into School Kids, he was like a professor. He just had he had a goatee and he didn't even have the colored braids
Right.
or
The
nothing.
early pictures I saw, just like what you talk about, wearing suits and stuff, you know. Can't think of the name what they were before.
Well, when they first had a hit, they were the Parliaments, and they were kind of like almost like a doo-wop group. I don't know if doo-wop is the right term exactly, but certainly,
But more vocals than
kind of
music
maybe like
thing,
more like Motown in a way. But but I want to testify. That's a pretty good single. That's still
cool.
stands up.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's cool. So, the P-Funk connection, man. So how many times did you see him, Fred?
Just that one. Well, when George Clinton came in the store, he was in there most of the whole day. But the Parliament Funkadelics, I only seen them once.
Wow, okay. But you did. I meant meeting George.
And it was in the 70s sometime.
Wow. Did you
They
ever see
all
them? Gary?
had
No.
purple and orange diapers, and their hair, and they all had afros, but they were all orange and purple.
Yeah, it was a
Match their diaper.
colorful group.
yeah.
Well, they were on with Commander Cody and Lost City, whatever they're called. Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, and Mississippi Fred McDowell
Wow, that was a very
at Meadowbrook.
lineup there.
That's an interesting lineup.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
boy, a little bit of everything there.
Wow.
Blues and
Well,
Funk
that's what they
and-
used to do.
That's
country
a
rock.
Fillmore show.
yeah,
Last
like
time I
Bill
saw
Graham.
George was at Meadowbrook. I was working as a stagehand down there, and it was George and Fishbone
Oh,
and
cool.
some other group. I can't think of who it was, but that was about 5 years ago. Did that show down there.
Fishbone's awesome.
Yeah, we put on a good show that day.
When did you start playing in the clubs, Steve?
In the clubs, probably, I would imagine like about 1980, 81. I was about 15, 16 years old, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever have any hassle because you were
Oh,
underage?
yeah. I mean, far as the bar owners telling my brothers, keep him away from the bar and all that kind of stuff, and
Okay.
because I'll lose my license and this and that, and, but yeah, I was the kid that shouldn't have been in the bar playing drums. Yeah.
Now this is the Carl McCray band.
Oh, we were the McCray brothers.
Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just me,
That's
Larry,
right,
and
McCray
Carl.
Brothers, right?
Carl, Larry, and me, and then we added our nephew Tony, singing. But yeah, it was just us three for a long time.
Wow.
When you backed Lester in Chicago in
Yeah.
'87, was Mike Brush,
Right.
and who was the other guitar player
That
or
was
bass
our
player?
cousin just hanging around with us, Stan Gilbert.
Stan.
Yep,
Oh, Stan.
Stan from Flint. Yep.
Yep.
He ended up playing with Larry and his band for a few years with us.
Oh, okay.
Later on in the early 2000s, probably.
Seen Stan quite a bit with you guys.
Yeah. Stan's a good bass player.
Do you, when you started playing in the clubs and stuff, what was highlights for you and your best memories from back then?
Well, I was the main vocalist. It's weird because I knew, I knew a bunch of those songs. We were just doing stuff that was on the radio, basically.
Yeah.
Larry had no records or nothing. Nobody had no records and all that stuff. So just whatever kind of stuff was kind of hot, whatever, the club liked it or whatever like that. Let's learn it, man. Let's learn those songs and play that in the club. And I could sing them because I knew them and whatever. And then that's how I honed my talent in from playing and singing, from doing all that stuff like that,
You're one of a handful. I mean, there's, and all of you in the national drumming legends. I mean, you're one of them, and it's so rare to have a great singer that can.
I try,
play.
man. It's some stuff I won't even tackle because of the rhythmic aspect of it. Just can't do it and sing at the same time. Just for me, anyway.
Right. The vocal part, that's something I was going to bring up later, but it's a great time to bring it up right now. I've been in sessions with you guys, and you direct a lot of vocals in the recording. Mm-hmm. You are a harmony master. What was your favorite things of bringing the vocals and the harmonies into your bands that you're in? I mean, how did that develop? Who was your guys?
Listen to a lot of vocal groups like the Temps and Four Tops and stuff, you know.
That was your thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was always the Detroit connection for some reason, man. You know, and Enchantment is another group that gets swept under the rug, but it was all vocal groups. And
Enchantment.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're from Detroit too, but yeah, it's just I love the way that 3 or 4 harmony things sound. You know, at least if we can't get 3, I can get 1 or 2 of us to do it. You know, and get some kind of harmony going on. You know, so I always like the way voices blend, sound together. You know,
And there's everybody
something
loves
about that harmony, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing about you guys live when you're playing with Larry all these years that people hone in on because the harmonies are there. You also have the ability to be doing some flashy drumming of your own very own style, which is a huge thing. I mean, I know you know me, and you probably laugh at me, but I'm connected to a lot of fans across the country, and they think in agreement with me that you're one of the most underrated drummers in the business. So, yeah, man, it's just bringing that whole package together. Is
Cool, man. Cool to hear.
I think is it one of them things where, man, all those club years, or is just that natural vibe, or what draws you to that live performance, man?
Just wanting to just it's something about you gotta keep the groove going, man, no matter what happens. I mean, the crowd, obviously sometimes you feed off the crowd and stuff, but it should never matter. My motto was always, if it's 10 or 10,000 in the crowd, you're supposed to play the same way as if you were playing for a concert. You know,
that's awesome.
Even if it's just us in here now, you deserve a show just like as if it was 10,000.
Yeah.
You know, so and a lot of musicians don't look at live performances that way because they just this crowd isn't happening today. I don't really feel like jamming and all that stuff. No, man, you gotta come on.
You bring it.
It's music.
Yeah, you bring it.
Don't ever cheat the music.
That's right.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you bring it, and then you bring the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get them going.
I mean, whoever I sit in with, from Soul Express to Eric Ryden and them guys, you know, I put forth the same effort on whatever song I'm doing.
That's one thing I've never seen you give up on a gig. It's you're driving it. It's grooving.
Not about volume. It's about
keeping the groove.
The groove and stuff, you know.
Didn't you play on a James Cotton CD?
No, I didn't get on. I played with Junior Wells.
Okay.
Junior, I played on Junior's.
I was thinking of him.
What is it? Better Off with the Blues CD. Well, it was me and Johnny B, Gaten, Lucky Peterson.
Ah.
Let me see. Me, Johnny B, Lucky, Buddy on rhythm.
Wow.
And Junior, yeah.
So is that when Buddy and Junior were playing together a lot?
No, this was like in mid '90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They hadn't been doing that Buddy and Junior thing for a while by then.
Yeah,
you know,
you probably saw him play at Ann Arbor, right?
And
that's where I
Lansing.
saw him. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're on a few Blind Pig releases, aren't you, Stevie?
Did one with I think isn't John Primer on Blind Pig?
Oh, I can't remember.
No, that was Tellark. Maybe I'm not sure.
You're on the Primer.
But I played on Primer's record too. Knocking at Your Door.
Oh.
That's Larry and me on the whole thing, and Matthew Scola, if you know him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
And bass player died. Al Brown. He's on the. He passed away.
Hmm.
And I don't know who else is on, because sometimes you'll do your tracks and then they'll add other stuff. So I don't know all who might be Roosevelt Purifoy on keyboards.
You did them in Chicago,
Yeah.
Chicago sessions.
Mm-hmm. CRC studio.
That's where you did a few Larry things too.
Rax tracks.
Rax
I
tracks.
think it was. And maybe a couple of times at CRC too. Yeah, because we did some
Like the Larry McCray, and the Believe It. I think some of that was down there, right?
Yeah, well, that was in House of Blues studio. It used to be called Kiva in Memphis.
Okay.
Kiva studio, and then they changed it to House of Blues, and then we did the other half at a studio called Rax.
Oh,
Rax tracks.
Yeah, it's okay. I just did all them liner notes for Larry's digital thing.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing CRC pop up on a few when I was thinking it was that period.
Yeah, we did a couple of different times in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of those records, especially those Magnolia late '90s records. You co-produced or co-wrote majority of the tracks with Larry.
Yeah.
And Jason
Latshaw.
Yeah. Down in Memphis. Yeah. I remember him coming up here to Bad Axe for those sessions. I got to meet him with Paul and you guys.
And Joe Christensen was engineering on some of that too.
Yeah. What was that studio in Bad Axe? I think they're still around.
What did he call it? I can't even think of what he called it. Man. Welton. That was his last name.
Last name, yeah.
Daryl Welton.
Yeah.
I think that's what he called it, Welton Studios.
Yeah. Man, that's so much cool stuff that you've gotten to do over the years, man.
Yeah, I've been lucky, man. You know, I've been playing around here a long time, but still ain't all of what I wanted to do. You know,
you got a lot more to do.
Yeah. Hopefully.
When did it become from the McCray brothers to Larry McCray? I can't remember.
When we got that, met them guys down by Detroit, Bobby Hankins and John Barnwell, and they had some type of connection with Point Blank Virgin and stuff, and then they signed him as Larry McCray then.
Ambition album.
The Ambition was the first one. Yeah.
Right.
And that was coming out of the McCray Brothers, or coming out of Carl McCray Band, or what?
Well, it was. We were actually still the McCray Brothers then.
Okay.
You know,
because when Larry went on the road with you, the Carl kept going, and you come home and play with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I play both sides. Who needs a drummer this week?
Well, the Carl McCray Band, that was a great band.
Oh, they had that going for about 10, 12 years or something, maybe. After him and Larry split up with their deal going on, and like I said, I played with both of them. Whoever needed a drummer, I didn't care. They both my brothers, whatever.
Yep.
I play with whoever. I don't have any animosity either way. So,
thinking back to those days, were there any particular clubs in the Saginaw, Flint, Bay City area that stood out to you as really being great venues? Did you guys really love to play in?
Well, we played at the Hamilton Street Pub a lot. I don't know if it was a great club to play at, but we had a bunch of fun down there.
Yeah.
It was crazy days back in the 80s, man. You know, a lot of partying going on. Yeah, the mid-'80s was crazy for us. But yeah, that Hamilton Street Pub was probably the main place that we played. I mean, we played around a little bit other places, but it was mostly right there when we were brothers like that. And as far as, let's see, Bay City we did a lot of stuff at the Captain Jake's.
Yeah, I remember you being out in the, I couldn't remember.
Castaways now.
Yeah, Castaways, right. It was Captain Jake's back in the 80s.
Used to be out there all the time.
Okay. So you dealt with Aaron Ellick out there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We know Aaron.
Yeah, he was quite a character.
We know Aaron.
What were some of your favorite tours, Steve? What was the one that opened your eyes, and what was some of your favorite road trip stories?
Man, probably the first time I went overseas, I would imagine, with Larry. That the first time I ever left the country, you know, that was something different for me. You know, I was 25 or something, 24 or 5. I had never been out of the country, so went straight flew into London, and then maybe a couple of days later we was on the road.
Is that the Gary Moore tours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gary Moore tour. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty. Getting to see all those places, you know, had never imagined I'd see.
Yeah.
How did you find the European audiences? They seem to be very appreciative of the blues.
Very receptive of the blues, probably more so than Americans,
right.
I would imagine. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion of it.
Still, to this day?
I'd say to this day, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Americans have seen everything, and, you know, you mention blues to the average person. Hey, you know anything about the blues? What you mean? Da, 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 da. That's the first thing they start humming out of their mouth. That's what people average person thinks that
Yeah.
that's what blues is. But my mama left me, my daddy died. You know,
Yeah.
the
It's
old
just like
typical whatever.
Typical like country people, like
Right.
they say, kicking the dog,
Right,
drinking a
they
beer.
show country
Yeah.
music the
Yeah.
same way. So it's not a really respected, but what country music is now.
Well, they turned it on the
And
rock.
a lot of people say it's
It's,
watered down with all the popish stuff that's going on in country music. So it's the same thing with all genres of music, man. You know, you got to just keep digging and trying to find the old stuff or somebody that's trying to play it coming up now, because it is watered down. I would agree with him. Yeah.
What keeps you guys driving in the studio, making new music to this day? I mean, you've done it all, so I mean, you're continuing to go. Larry's had another peak again here, so what's keeping you rolling?
Oh, well, for me, it's just trying to keep playing, man. You know,
Yeah, you didn't get to do the last tour, a record tour. You did a couple songs on the record, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know what happened with that thing. You know, when different record labels and stuff get involved with things, and you know,
Well, you had some health issues too, right?
yeah, as far as it didn't have anything to do with being in the studio, but
True.
as far as being in the band and touring, yes, because I'm on dialysis now.
Okay.
I'm a kidney patient, so I stopped traveling on the road like I did before, but I still got a handful of gigs that I got booked with him this year, you know. But, all the shows where he takes off and goes for 3 weeks out west and out east and all that, I don't do those, you know. But,
So you stick to pretty much local
yeah,
stuff.
I play
in
around
the
here,
area.
Midland, whatever.
Okay.
Well, wherever I can play, as long as I can be back home by Monday to go to the machine, you know.
Okay.
So I'm good on that. But yeah, that's that thing with the album. I don't know. Is just, you know, producer's decision.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a different ballpark coming out of the Magnolia era of albums, and at the passing of Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't. I just speak on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make sense for him to like take the hire somebody to play on his record, but he's got me, and I know almost the stuff that he hasn't even written. I know it. That's how well I know Larry's music. Stuff that he's just doodling around on, I know it already. You know, so why wouldn't you want that guy to play on a record that you're first time producing? Well, I'll at least get the main stage drummer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't go down like that.
Well, and plus you got the sibling harmony thing going on too,
Absolutely.
which
It's
is
a lot of things.
pretty hard to beat
That
that.
harmony's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the song that I did get to play on, I'm doing a little harmony with him on there. So, what is it? Don't Put Your Dreams to Bed. That's the only one I'm on.
Okay. No, that was interesting how that all was going down through the Joe Bonamassa record here over the last 3 years. But yeah, you got yourself healthy. I mean, dude, you're looking better than you've ever looked.
I probably feel better. Just
Yeah.
kidneys ain't no good, but
Yeah.
I'm still working on that too. I'm doing all my evaluations and all my procedures and urologies, and hopefully I'll be on the list soon.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Well, that's progress.
I adhere to what they tell me to do. So
I'm glad to hear that. You back when you when Paul Cook was managing.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of it, but I maybe tell the audience a little bit of you made a lot of decisions too with and sometimes for Larry during that period. I got to watch. What was your thought process through all those years, man, and trying to keep the boat afloat, especially in those, late '90s were a little rough for everybody for blues. So I remember you guys working really hard though.
yeah, man, it's just I mean, you got to keep rehearsing mostly.
Yeah.
And as of late, that's probably done went out the window with everybody living so far away from each other. The band that he was working with, the closest guy is Greg Davison.
He's in Davison, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody else, well, it wasn't nobody, but the drummer he lived in Lansing. Joe lived in Detroit. He lives in Detroit.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and Jim Alfredson lives in Lansing. So everybody's way far away from Larry.
Yeah.
You guys are in bed.
He hadn't been rehearsing a lot lately, you know. So that was always my main thing. When are we going to practice? When are we going to get some more tunes or something? But you know, that's
You were driving.
yeah. You got to keep rehearsing, no matter how good you play or whatever. Man, you got to still rehearse. I mean, you know, the way they talked. If you want to use sports as an analogy, Michael Jordan was one of the best basketball players, but he was always in that gym working on something, you know.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, the same thing, you know. Got to keep working.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't practice relentlessly like that on my own, but I would always want a band practice. Even if I wasn't practicing on my own individually as much as I should have, I still would try to get the band together.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's always a hard thing to do that, but we managed for a while, you know. But, you know, years go by and different members and stuff. So,
and you lived in Bay City with Larry for a while, and, and near him for a while, and now you're in Saginaw.
Yep.
Back in Saginaw.
Yeah, back in Saginaw.
And would you say that the blues nowadays, or the music scene, the rock blues, whatever you want to call it, that you get to fit into, is there anything different now than there was back when you first started hitting the road doing it, or is there any lacking, or is there any good things about it, or what's your outlook of it right now?
Blues nowadays, I don't know, man. It's not as real as I don't think as it used to be.
I was wondering.
No, I don't think so. It's a lot of artists that are out there playing what they call blues, you know, and it's their opinion, and they got a crowd that's listening to them and applauding. But I don't really see a bunch of real blues artists that are out there. I mean,
Are you thinking?
that's just my opinion.
Are you
Right,
thinking
right,
like
Mine
too
too.
much soloing? You know, that type of blues where, you know, they just kind of go off on long solos and so on? Or?
Not well. It's really just the basic of the grooves that you hear them playing. You know, I can get by with whoever's soloing or whatever, but how does your rhythm section sound is where I'm coming from, you know, because that's generally what makes a band.
Yeah, gives it the
rhythm
sound.
section, you know.
True.
You can be the best soloist ever, but if you've got a poor rhythm section, who cares, kind of, you know. Somebody else say, hey, let's get that guy and put him with a kick-ass rhythm section or something, you know. But if you got a rhythm section, well, they all collectively, they sound pretty good, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think it's different if you got a really good rhythm section. So that's what I don't hear a lot nowadays. I mean, but there's tons of musicians, obviously, that can play. I'm blown away every time I turn on YouTube, you know, seeing all these little kids and 5-year-olds shredding. I'm like, come on, man. Unbelievable stuff. But what do you sound like in a unit? And I don't hear not a lot of really good traditional sounding blues. Not necessarily traditional sounding, but I don't know how to explain it. What I'm trying to. I don't know. It just ain't real.
It's more formulatic now, and then it's not so authentic.
There you go.
When you were young, man, I don't know if I asked Larry this question ever. I may have done it without being on the podcast, but do you remember any juke joints or anything when you were younger? Because you would have been at the last of that era. You know what I mean? Getting to see some of that down in Arkansas, or going maybe on tour with the McCray Brothers. I don't know. Did you guys ever come across any of those legit juke joints and Junior Kimbrough and R.L. Burnside or anything before that?
Not really, man. Not a lot of that stuff.
That would probably be pretty much deep south, right?
Yeah,
where you would
most of the time
get
when we
into
were
that.
touring like that, we would, you know, just go to the club and do the gig and
Hotel or
go to the hotel,
hit the road.
And, you know, I mean, I could probably say I played and literally had a gig in every state in America, but just to tell you that I know something about those towns that we went to, a lot of times it was nighttime.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally dark. We're going to the club, and then when we get done, it's dark. Go back to the hotel, wake up, we're driving, you know. So
Yeah, sure.
didn't really see a lot of that stuff, but I've been to them.
Yeah.
Almost every state. I think we literally have had a gig in every state,
Wow.
except Hawaii. We played in Alaska too, but never as a band. Never went to. Larry went to Hawaii, but we never did that as a band. We played in Alaska, Anchorage, and somewhere else. I think.
So you drove up to Alaska to play?
I think we might have been touring in California or something.
Probably flew.
But yeah, we did. We were. I think we
'Cause I
were
booked
touring.
Lester up there once.
We were touring in California maybe, and then we ended up in Seattle or something. I think we flew out of there maybe. And then I know we flew to Anchorage.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, man, that was a heck of a road trip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would have needed my rifles and
That's right.
axes and everything else.
I remember a story you told me. You came home, we were talking on the phone, and then you told me about it at Larry's house. One of these festivals, you played up against Deep Purple one night, and you got to see Ian Pacey play, man. That was a highlight for you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about them festivals you were playing and some of the stuff you've done, people you've met or saw?
A lot of festivals. One time I met Johnny Hooker.
Yeah?
That was at that was during that one of those Gary Moore. I think it was after the tour, but periodically they would call Larry out again to some point blank stuff, you know, and we were doing one of those at the Hollywood Bowl. And I'm standing backstage. I think Gary's doing his show, and we probably had already did ours, I would imagine. And Johnny Hooker walks by, and I'm dressed just like the security. They got on like black sweats and black t-shirt and whatever, you know. And he walks up to me, yeah, what a John. I'm like, I don't know. And he looked at me, oh, you don't even know, huh? That's what he told me, you don't like, as if I'm working here and I don't even know what a John. And if I told somebody that story and they said, if you had been thinking, you should have said, you to John.
Oh, I never thought about
I didn't
that.
think of it.
That would have been classic.
Yeah. I would have got it, but But yeah, I met him, man. Shoot, man, I met so many guys. Luther Allison.
Yeah.
Luther came up on stage one time. We were playing in somewhere in Memphis, one of Larry's shows, and he reached behind in some kind of way and went to playing the guitar with Larry.
Oh, really?
While he still got it strapped on and stuff, you know. It's that kind of stuff, man. You know, I saw Jimmy King, little Jimmy King.
Yeah.
I saw him light up his guitar one day,
Wow.
like Jimi Hendrix.
Oh,
Slater fluid. And,
Yeah, it was at a festival in where was it? Nashville, I think it was. One of those Gibson stages, I think. And we saw him getting the stuff, you know, but we didn't think he was gonna really do it though, man. I'm like, I know he ain't gonna light up this beat, man.
yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
Whoa.
did he smash it on the stage too?
Oh, he did the Hendrix.
He did the whole Jimmy thing. Yeah, all right.
Man, we was laughing so bad. I had never seen nobody do that live in person like that. Somebody I know personally, you know.
Right.
And at the end of the show, that was really the funny part. Man, what the hell was you thinking about? He even started laughing.
Damn. I remember
that
when you
was
guys were
funny,
doing those
man.
Gibson things. I didn't hear that one. That was wild.
Hard to follow that.
Yeah.
Dr. John, so many people.
Yeah. Dr. John's awesome. I remember seeing him in
What y'all
Franklin.
boy doing down there? We had a bottle of wine in the dressing room, and we were looking around for some cups, and didn't have any cups. So Dr. John was right next door. Larry, hey, Dr. John, you got some cups? Yeah, let me get y'all boys some cups. I don't want y'all to be getting no fight over some pluck. Calling the wine pluck, you know.
Awesome.
Crazy stuff, man. We met some crazy people.
Was there any night where you had anybody sit in and you handed the sticks over for somebody to do some jamming?
Once Steve Ferroni from AWB
And Tom Petty
came in the China Club in Chicago. We were playing in there, and we walked in with somebody. I can't remember who he was with, but I'm like, "Hey, there's Steve Ferroni. Get that guy up here, man. You know, that's a bad dude. That's one of my heroes and shit." And okay, he gets talking and he convinced him to come up there. Larry calls off a blues shuffle. Should have been something funky.
Yeah.
That's Steve Ferroni's thing, the funk.
Yeah.
But I mean, he played it and stuff. He's of course he can play a blues shuffle.
Yeah.
You know. So Larry called off a blues shuffle instead of something funky, but with Steve Ferroni on the kit, on my kit.
Steve Ferroni's playing with Mike Campbell now.
Oh yeah.
So he might be in Midland in July.
I'm gonna be gone for that gig.
He was he's on the new album anyway. I don't know if he's on the touring band.
So funky.
Yeah, he's great.
On that Burglar record.
Oh man.
What a drummer. That's him on there.
Burglar.
Freddie King Burglar.
Cool. Did you now? You've played with a lot of bands around town. You like to do a lot of pickup gigs when you're living at home here. Tell us some about the bands that you're jamming with now and that you have over the last bunch of years. Because there's a Soul Express, I know, and tell me a little bit about some of the up and coming stuff.
No man, you guys ever heard of you seen Eric at all?
I know Eric. Yeah.
Eric's pretty good, man. He does a lot of solo stuff, and he likes to play kind of hard. You know, he's coming up. He's probably close to 40, I believe.
Eric Ryden.
Late 30s. Eric Ryden, yeah.
I have a CD by him.
He goes by AKFM, a Korean from Michigan.
That's what that stands for.
Yeah.
Okay. I never knew that.
He told me that's what it stands for. Yeah. AKFM.
He's a sweetheart
Yeah,
dude.
he's a cool guy, and I've been playing with him for about off and on 2 or 3 years here lately. I did a little recording with him in Midland. I don't know what he did with it, but yeah, he still got some tracks. He's talking about releasing it, and what's the Papa Kiska?
Yeah.
The
Greta Van Fleet's dad.
The father, right?
Those guys' dad was Vortex. That's the name of it.
Blues Vortex.
Right.
So that's got Rhett in that too, right?
Rhett plays with them. Rhett and Jeff Grousel on sax.
Oh, yeah.
I did some gigs with those guys, and did it about a year ago. But I was playing a few hits with them, and Roscoe always seems to call me every now and then to do some recording.
Yeah.
Did a couple of tracks with him not too long ago. Charlie Walmsley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roscoe used to be on Blues Controversy with Cherie back in the day, right?
Yep.
And he's now with the Lucky Nows with Jen Cass.
Yeah.
Eric Janetsky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Robertson.
I know that's about it as far as me.
But Soul Express, isn't that like the distant cousin of your Carl McCray band, kind of? Then everything kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's the last derivative of that band,
right?
Of the McCray Brothers band. Yeah.
So and it's still going.
Yeah. Got Dan Lewandowski still on sax.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be Dennis, him and his brother.
Right.
So, but Dennis hasn't been in for a long time. But yeah, that particular unit is of the old McCray Brothers band.
Yeah, John Hebert still plays guitar. John grew up in the
Swivel's
same.
on keyboards now.
Oh, okay.
He's coming up to do a podcast with us soon, Swivel.
Okay,
And Hebert's been on a podcast with us.
Right.
So is Tony still the singer?
Yep. Off and on, it was Lavelle Jackson too.
Lavelle, I can think of his name.
Lavelle Jackson, but yeah, Tony's the main guy right now. Yep. Yeah.
Incredible. And then you did some stuff with Rhett Yoakum's band too, right?
Yeah, Rhett hired me too when he got some stuff going on. Yeah. Forgot about that, but yeah. I met Rhett when he was in high school, man.
Yeah.
We did a show up there. There's Standish High. And, you got to meet Larry and all that stuff, and we've been damn near friends ever since. Did
you do anything with Dave Kellen when he was living at home?
Not that much. I probably was at his shows and stuff, but I don't remember just jamming with Dave unless he just sit in with Larry or something, you know,
Right.
on a gig.
I know
like
him
that,
and
but
I would come around a lot, but I wasn't sure if you did. 'Cause
Yeah,
I know Larry's on one of his
never
records.
played on any of just Dave's gigs himself.
He lives out in New York now.
Yeah. I talked to him not too long ago. Yeah.
You know, I still have that tape of when you guys back Lester out to Ziggy's.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's not bad. How old were you at that time?
I don't know, probably 30.
Because it had to be
I would imagine. I'm not
in
sure.
the 80s sometime, late 80s.
Yeah. That's probably 30, I would imagine.
Oh,
We did a cassette of yours, Freddie, that was
Yeah,
Chicago Blues Fest, right?
oh, right.
And that was not like 87 or
Yeah,
86?
that was
That
87.
Was
Blues
that-
Fest was 87, yeah.
And that was
Right.
with Steve and Larry, and you were named Mike Brush, maybe?
Yeah, Mike
Yeah.
Brush and Stan.
Okay. Yeah, you and I
Katie
archived that
Webster.
recently. Yeah,
That's the first time we ever went to Chicago.
really.
And I've been wanting to ask this. Is that when you guys met Paul Cook?
No, I think
Oh.
we had met him before then. See, he was Mike Mitchell's friend for a long time before we ever just started, before he started doing any business.
Well, remember when Wayne Bennett came in town?
Oh, yeah.
And I told Larry, you know, because Mike called me and wanted to get the McCray Brothers with Wayne Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, and then I was going to do that concert in Saginaw
Yeah.
on Holland Road there, that whatever name of that bar is. So Wayne and I went down River Road to Saginaw, smoking a joint.
It's
Yeah.
legal, Fred. We
Yeah, I
can say
know,
it.
but
Back then.
Back then, you were an outlaw in the eyes of
Yeah.
America.
and
He's a
then
rebel.
you guys said you would do it and everything, and then Wayne disappeared. And I found him. I finally found a phone number, and it was a gas station in Chicago.
Does that tie into Paul? Because that came out of the Paul Cook story. Was Paul part of that whole thing?
I might have met him that day. That's but early on, when he took over, because I was kind of booking the McCray Brothers or whatever, and Paul called and said, and those guys, the promoters, didn't want to deal with him. So they'd call me and say, "Can I book Larry through you?" And I said, "No, you got to, Paul Cook, you have to go through him." So I don't know if he ever got those particular gigs or not.
I don't know, man. It was different with Paul. It was like you said, sometimes they didn't want to talk to Paul, so
That was crazy.
had to go from there.
Yeah, I know Larry was very surprised. I had Paul Cook as a student in school.
Really?
Yeah. And he was Paul Cook back at 10 years old.
I can imagine that, man.
Wow.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he was a handful.
I said to myself, I bet he was. I knew he had to be.
Well, he called me up and said, "You'll have to cease and desist of booking Larry." And I said, "Okay, no problem." But he was like hollering at me.
Of course. There's no other way.
And then,
He could talk to you and holler at you. That's Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had
well,
a
it's
lot of
I
Paul
always
stories
liked
between
it,
all of us
you
here.
know.
Yeah, no, that was a rough patch for you because you were here, you are getting this booking stuff going, and they were just starting to break out. I get that, man. That's crappy. But that was Paul, man. When he took over everything, he wanted his hands on everything. What are some of your favorite Michigan bands you've played with over the years in any style? I don't know if it's festival wise or you're like, man, I know we like to mention a lot of Michigan bands here that maybe stick out in your mind.
I used to like jamming around with Cherie.
Jamming with Cherie?
Yeah.
Oh, Cherie's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No. You know, she always had a good band.
Did you ever tour with her in France or anything?
No. When she first started, I played some gigs with her, like around Saginaw and stuff. You know,
With James?
Yeah. When her first few gigs, I was the drummer.
Okay.
But
Cherie Williams.
in the middle of that, I was going on the road with Larry and stuff, so some of those times she needed me to play, I wasn't there, so she started looking to other drummers, you know, and that was understandable. So
Yeah.
You know, Tom Burt, who did that photography, did some work with Cherie.
yeah,
He took that famous photograph of her that
For the
was kind of-
Chevy commercial.
Yeah, that was kind of blue toned.
okay,
Yeah, it was really a great shot of her.
yeah, man.
But you know, unfortunately, Tom passed. I'm not sure
I
how
have
long
it
it
right
was.
on my wall, framed.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it was after
Was that with the microphone? I've
Yeah,
seen that at
right.
your house,
We've
yeah.
got the picture,
Here.
but it's in
Yeah.
black and white. It's not the, you know, the classic original shot, or you know, the tone that the original photo had.
Okay.
Yeah, I never got to do too much jamming with them, but you remember Vinny and those guys, the KMJ,
Essexville.
remember them guys?
Yeah.
That comes up once in a while on our
Them guys
podcast. Yeah.
played some. They were crazy, man, but they could play. You know?
KMJ band.
My high school buddy.
Yeah,
you
Mike
know,
Beatty.
Yeah,
Mr. Mike over there, yeah.
Mako and all them guys, you know, I used to hang around with them and stuff back after I met Mike and all,
Yeah,
Mike Mitchell
Mike
and all
Mitchell.
them guys, you know.
Mike Mitchell plays a nice little underground theme here for the McCrays. He ran sound for you guys for a long
Yeah.
time. Good friend of the band.
And still doing it.
Still doing
I
it.
only seen them once at that Wayne Bennett concert.
Right.
And I guess it was, well, whoever it was, all I can remember of that band, and I guess it was Vinny.
Wearing a diaper?
No, spitting all the time.
Spitting. Okay.
Just spitting, you know. And I'm going, why is he spitting all the time?
It's a punk rock thing.
That's classic.
Yep, they were on that show too. Bay City Central.
Right. I have that poster.
When was that?
In junior high, they were playing
late
in the
80s.
cafeteria,
Okay.
and the school had them stop because they got too rowdy. So they went out in the parking lot and played in the parking lot. The school called the police and shut them down.
We've had enough of you. Done. Be done. KMJ. Miss
Yeah.
Essexville's finest.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Well, what's going on in the future here, Stevie? What you got coming up?
Man, nothing really for certain, but I want to probably put out some songs, you know. I haven't really recorded any original stuff, and I got a few. I don't have a whole lot of stuff, but I got probably enough, about 5 or 6 songs, probably, if I was to tie them all together and get some more and make a project.
Awesome.
You know, that's what I really want to do.
Awesome. Well, I hope we
I've
hope to
never
do that.
really done nothing. I mean, I've sang different songs on people's projects, and that's me singing that and all that stuff, but I never did a record or whatever, a CD of my own or nothing. I want to do, at least just say I did it once, you know.
Yeah, well, sounds like you got a good start.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And Larry told me you've got a pretty good archive of Larry's stuff. He says that you've collected a lot over the years. What are?
Oh, yeah.
Because I obviously he's got
A
some
lot of
stuff at my
cassettes
place
and
too.
A
Yeah.
lot of live CDs and stuff.
Okay.
And I could put together probably a heck of a
Well,
double something like that,
man.
some kind of live.
well, something we should look at because now we're gonna. By the time this broadcast, the digital Larry archives will be out, and I've been working on that with him and Peggy, and he wanted me to get with you so we can start putting archive stuff up there. So
Yeah.
that's something we need to start combing through
Get some of
too.
that stuff and master it down or something, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know how each tape or whatever
Yeah,
could
man.
be sounding different or whatever. But yeah,
All
yeah, I
right.
got a lot of that kind of old stuff.
Yeah, he kept referring to you when we were looking at some old stuff. He's like, "You got Steve, man. Steve's got all that stuff." And he says, "What you ain't got, he's got the rest
I got
of
a
it."
lot of it. Yeah, a
That's-
lot of it I did take care of and keep. Yeah, a lot of those old recordings and
You got a lot of photos too, by chance?
I probably do. I'd have to look.
Oh, we were talking about that earlier with
I
Clara.
think I do have photos.
Okay.
I'll try to just round up a bunch of that stuff, man. You know.
Maybe by the time the show airs, we'll get some of those photos to put for the show.
Okay.
To show a little back history.
Yeah.
As some nice unreleased stuff, or even something that someone hasn't seen in forever, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some stuff, man. I know I got at least a few photos that would be useful or whatever, yeah.
Awesome.
If not, I got some stuff on my phone, like Facebook profile, a lot of pictures on there, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some photos.
Cool. Well, Steve McCray, thank you for being on the Michigan Music History Podcast, man.
All right, Scotty.
Friend of the band, friend of mine for a long time, and Freddie as well, and we appreciate you, man. Like, we would just thank you, man.
My brother.
Yeah.
Glad to be here, man. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
On behalf of our hosts, this podcast wouldn't be here without generosity of the Bay City Historical Museum, which hosts the Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. We'd also like to thank all of our guests, and especially to the listeners. The MMHP is found at 989.network, or where all podcasts can be found. You can find updated information as well as Dr. J and Sir Fred's Picks of the Week on Facebook. Also on Facebook, check out Mr. Mike's Local Music Live series and Scott's Mid-Mitten 15 from Harvest Canteen Studios, featuring one-on-one interviews with Michigan music artists. You can connect with Scott on the web at scottbakermusic.com, Dr. J at michiganrockandrolllegends.com, Sir Fred at fredrife.com, and Mr. Mike on YouTube as Mr. BT1. That's MRBTEE and the number 1.
On behalf of us hosts, Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and myself, we'd like to thank Mr. Eddie Switek, the voice of the MMHP and the 989.
Where do you get that T-shirt?
I ordered it online. I can't remember.
I've been staring at it the whole time.
That's
I
awesome.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome shirt.
man.